Alrighty guys, it is June of 2023 and I'm finally doing an updated parts tour. I've been way overdue for this for many years. So why don't we just get right on into it. I've gotten a lot of new parts since my last parts tour. I think it was back in 2020. I don't even remember, honestly. I had the two shelves, but I've gotten a lot of new things and I even have more shelves in this now. So why don't we just get right on into it. Starting up top, we have this really neat Westinghouse indicator. And over here on the side, you have this Adams Survivor Plus call station. And as you can see, of course, the buttons light up. But in addition, when you press the corresponding button, the arrows turn on, which is really neat. And there's a plug up top, and I'll show you guys later, when you plug it in, there's the dinner bell on the back that'll actually ring as well. So this is a really neat piece. Oops, wrong shelf. I don't know what I'm doing. Up here, we have this freight elevator sign, which is neat, but I mean, it's just a freight elevator sign, doesn't do anything. It's made out of metal though, which is pretty neat. Up here, we have a rare part. KONE KSS 300, given to me by KONE of Moline, Illinois, like their headquarters for North America. Huge thanks to them for this. It's kind of finicky, but it lights up. This is a really neat piece. It's gonna fall. Okay, that's fine. I gotta fix that later anyway. That's a really awesome piece. Moving on over here, this is a new part from last time. Here we have this awesome Otis Series 3, if you want to call it, call station, the luxury. This came out at the Gonda building at Mayo Clinic in Rochester. A huge thanks to them for saving this for me. And, sorry for the shakes, if you turn the switch, a little hospital service light turns on. Light it up again. This is a really awesome piece. I don't know what happened here with this like gunk stuff. And it makes it look actually a little neater, like it like totally survived some explosion or something. So yeah, this is awesome. I love new Otis. A huge thanks to Mayo Clinic for saving this for me. Over here, this is a very interesting part I got off of eBay, one of my earlier parts. Excuse me. So, it just looks like a normal call station, except the buttons are mismatched. Up here, you have Mad BS California code. Down here, you have Mad BP Moon. And there's a switch up top. And when you flip this switch, the lights turn on, which is neat. But what's even weirder is when you press the buttons. It makes noise. I don't know why it does that, but that's how ThyssenKrupp made this for whoever originally had this. It's a really funny thing. I would not expect it to do that if I didn't know it. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why the person didn't want this anymore, but I'm not complaining. It's awesome. Up here, we have just a bunch of random merchandise. Schumacher mug, Mitsubishi mug. There's a drop key, which I always never use. It's always staying here. KONE hard hat. This is a Otis hard hat. And here's a KONE paperweight. I'm not going to open it because it's going to make a mess. Some stickers and whatnot. Oh, this is cool. This is like an old 1918 Westinghouse, what's it called? Catalog. I got off eBay for like $5. That was totally worth it. Innovation catalogs, I believe. KONE Frisbee. And this I recently got. I don't know if you can see that well. These are, there you go, Montgomery playing cards. 2 sets. The brown one's actually still sealed. I'll show you one of the cards. See, they're just normal playing cards here. This was awesome. Glad this is in such great shape and I'm able to preserve it. Ooh, my arms are getting tired. Moving down, this is my little shelf with all my little things. Over here we have a Montgomery KONE belt buckle. I think someone from KONE gave me that a long time ago. Back behind it, I can grab it out of there. Get it good. We have this Westinghouse Mark V elevator system belt buckle, which I got for like, I think $10 on eBay. Super cool score, in my opinion. Put that back. Here we have some Innovation sales samples. We have some Decorator and Universal. Both of these came from Innovation. Put that bell out of the way. Huge thanks to them for this. These look really nice. Here we have an Adams home lift button. This was one of my earlier parts. I got this on eBay. Here we have Vandalic. These things are crappy. You see these on like older Maoris, which I wired to light up purple. And you can see it doesn't really work that well, but it works. There's a stop switch, some ThyssenKrupp things, a bunch of pens and whatnot, a couple Otis vans. Behind there, try not to make a mess. There's like a KONE football, there's KONE like foam escalators back there. Here's a Fujitech braille from DJ, huge thanks to him for that. This I got on eBay, I think. Just some random old button. Doesn't do anything, I don't even know what brand it is. Maybe Otis, I don't know. Here we have some Mad BS Moon. This was the first elevator part I ever got, this Adams Survivor button right here, Survivor Plus rather. And when it goes into the base, it lights up, but it's missing a piece, which is why the cap always falls off. Here are some Montgomery Black buttons. These are awesome, in really good shape too, for their age. It's like these were never used before. Here, you know me, I love armor. These were from DJ. Huge thanks to him for these. It's weird door close lights up, but I think it actually, yeah, it did come with a lamp socket. I wired that up. Oh, that's so satisfying. Here's another armor button. This one really lights up bright. Here we have, what is this? Weird EPCO. Custom EPCO, like sticks out a lot. I don't even know what series this is, but it's EPCO. It's an interesting part. Here we have rare white Otis Lexan. This is the newer type, which is just GAL, Jet Plus, but it says Otis on it. This is a neat part. Here we have Otis Vanity. Come on. This came out of SPS Tower in Minneapolis, Minnesota. These are now Otis Compass 360s. Sad loss, but I'm glad I was able to save some parts from these. And I will show you guys later what happened to one of the panels. Here we have some random relays. This is a big, I think ESCO, maybe? I don't remember. One of these is an ESCO relay. I forgot which one says it. Here we have this little Skivator 3D printed button. This is neat. I'm glad I was able to get one of these. Here's some weird coin from like an Atlanta Marriott hotel. Good for one elevator ride. I don't know if this is for the marquee or not, but when I saw that on eBay for like $2, I'm like, I'm snagging it. And here's a cool Mitsubishi elevator keychain. You don't see that every day. This looks like it came straight from Japan or something. Sorry, I really got the shakes today. Oops, and the belt buckle fell, whatever. This is a Montgomery relay, if I remember correctly. Yes it is. I'm making a mess, but whatever. And there's a few little knickknacks back there. Here's all my bells. I can ring them all real quick. We got, I think this is the Westinghouse dinner bell, low pitched. Oh, this is the high pitched. Little broken, but so satisfying. To the side for now. I forget what all these bells are. I think this is GAL. Or actually, this might be a Fujitech bell. I don't remember. If this is the Fujitech bell, it's from DJ though. Huge thanks to him for that, if that's what that is. What is this? This is a Dover bell. Should sound familiar if you're in the Dovers. Yeah, this is the GAL bell, I think. Yeah. This came out of a Jet Plus panel. Side. What's left? This is the low pitch dinner bell. I love those dinner bells, although I like the higher one better. And this is like an old Otis Autotronic bell, but it's kind of broken, so I could try to get it to ring. Yeah, it's the best it's gonna be. Throw that off to the side. Alright, so that's that shelf. Let's move down to this shelf. Oops, I'll move this out of the way. Little Safety Master magnet from ThyssenKrupp. This is mainly my really old parts, for the most part. So let's start over here. This is something new I recently got. EPCO Singapore call station. It looks orange on camera, but it's actually like a reddish pink in real person. This was an eBay item. This is a neat piece to have in my collection. You don't see these every day. And they sound like innovation too, although they're not. They're actually EPCO. I was glad I was able to get one of those. So these two are interesting. This is armor vandal resistant. So of course, you know me, I love armor. This is awesome. I'd foam over this all day. And then over here, this is actually an Adams replacement for this. And they had colored caps. I haven't pressed this in a while, actually. It's weird. It was kind of hard to wire up, if I remember correctly. And it's really stiff, but it's technically, ow, that hurt. It's like armor vandal resistant, but it's actually an Adams base, technically. It looks like armor on the back, though. This was a neat piece I got on eBay. This armor button with this really neat custom plate from One Penn Center in Philadelphia. This is actually a really big plate. You can see how fat it goes in the back. And it lights up, of course. I love this one. I press this all the time because it's armor. I don't see this type of armor that often either. This was a really neat save. Here we have another armor button. This was also an eBay item. This is like the really old black button armor. It's a little finicky because the contacts are really dirty, but it lights up, of course. Whoa. There you guys go. Right here, this I got on, I think I had this last time. I got this on Etsy. This is Hot and Triangle. This was a really neat find. You do not see these every day anymore. The up button's a little broken, but I got it to work. And this looks really neat in the dark, especially. I love that. It almost looks like a little Christmas tree. They're satisfying too. And this plate, you can actually flip. It's brass out here, and on the other side it's silver. It's like a two-way plate. Moving on. I don't remember if I had this last time. I think I did. This is Otis black button, the older type, with the colored lights. This is really neat too. I love older elevator things. That also kind of reminds me of a Christmas tree. These are satisfying too. This is in really good shape for its age as well. Here we have a freight call, newer Otis black button. I think it's gonna slide around on me. This is neat too, although it'd be cooler if it lit up. Here we have Otis Lexan, older. This was an eBay item as well. This is really satisfying too. I love Lexan. Everybody loves Lexan. This is a neat part too. Westinghouse black button with the mushrooms, complete with the original guts. This came out of somewhere in Chicago. Forget where. But I love this. Older Westinghouse is really cool. It's a shame you can't find them anymore. Now let's move down another shelf, and I'm sitting on a bell. We'll move that out of the way. This is a recent part. A freight elevator, older innovation universal call station. It's just gonna slide around on me. Come on. There we go. I love older innovation. And I wired it up, of course, when you press the button, so the button use light turns on. That was a pretty good deal on eBay, I remember. Put that back. Here we have US circle button. This was an eBay item, one of my earlier parts. It's a shame, of course, one of the lens caps is broken because it's US, but this is still a really neat piece. The US is getting harder and harder to find every day. Speaking of US, here's a US square button. It was really beat up, but it survived. It's neat how it says call and not in or up and down. And it's on a brass plate too, which you also don't see every day. Here we have some pane. This was an awesome find on eBay. It's a little finicky, and the up arrow, it was completely gone, so I tried my best to paint it back in, and it came out decently well. And you can see in the lights on the spots I missed, but from the naked eye, it looks pretty good. Come on, I'm trying to get them both to light up. There we go. Yeah, pane's really neat. I don't see pane that often. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen pain before I got this in person. So I'm glad I was able to get this. Come on. One of them I had to replace the lamp socket, but I made it work. There we go. This was an eBay find as well. An interesting Curtis button that came out of somewhere in New York City, I believe. And when you press it, both the lights turn on. I like that green and red, that's interesting. This is a really fat and you can tell it's well built, this button. This definitely survived a long time. Who knows? I mean, the inside's made out of asbestos, so this is probably from like the 30s or the 40s, if I had to guess. Here we have a Staley button. Also came from somewhere in New York, probably. This I got on Etsy, I believe. Doesn't light up, obviously. There's no lamp sockets, but it's really neat to press, and it always likes to turn to the left for some reason. Here we have two Cutler hammer buttons. Excuse me. As you can see, one of them is just like a normal one, and the other one's an up and down. This one's like on a freight elevator. Oh, and the battery died on it. Oh, there it goes. See, it lights up. In use light. That jewel light's really neat. Sorry, I really got the shakes today. And then here's the other one, the up and down. Again with the jewel light, that looks really nice. These two look really nice next to each other. Back here, let me move. Actually, I'll show you this first. MT with the fire hat. This came out of somewhere in Pennsylvania, I believe. It's one of my earlier parts I got on eBay. It's a little finicky, but it works. Move that out of the way, and it's gonna fall on me. This is a really rare part. I got on eBay, one of my earlier parts. ABC elevator. You do not see these every day. I'm glad I was able to save this. And it lights up, of course. It's a little finicky because it's older, but it's in really good shape for its age. Looks awesome. All right, let's move down to another shelf. This is my EPCO shelf, in case you can already tell. Lots of EPCO buttons. I don't think I had any of these last time. Starting off, we have EPCO SSL. I don't see SSL that often, so I'm glad I'm able to have some in my collection. But what I have seen is SSL-H, where the halo lights up. It's interesting to see how similar yet different they both are. These were both eBay items. Here we have this weird EPCO vanity button. If it's gonna light up on me, there it goes. It's kind of hard to see. It's on like a brown plate. It almost looks like something you'd see in like a Nordstrom or something. But it looks really nice. Maybe it wasn't a Nordstrom, who knows? Here we have this custom EPCO circle line button that came out of Campbell Mithun Tower, which is now 222 in downtown Minneapolis. Huge thanks to them and for Schindler for saving these for me. I love that red. That looks really nice. So you got the red for down and the white for up. These were Westinghouse and they're now port. And over here, this is really neat. I recently got this too. Custom EPCO halo line that came out of Capella Tower in Minneapolis. Also originally Schindler, or not also. They were originally Schindler, and they're being modded by Schindler, like 222. These are also now port. The really cool thing I want to pay attention to is this plate. This plate's actually made out of plastic. Kind of hard to tell, but it's plastic. And the design that they did on them, this gray, like almost pie thing, that matches all the signs in the building, which I thought was a really neat way to make it look fit in. Of course, I lit it up. This is a really neat piece. This again, custom EPCO halo line that almost from afar looks like GAL Jet Plus, but it's not. Over here we have normal EPCO halo line from GPT Elevators. Huge thanks to him for this. See, this one you can see it's flush, it goes in a little, where this one sticks, it's kind of hard to see, it sticks out. And this one is the arrows, of course. So lots of EPCO here, as you can see. We have two fake Otis globes and a real Otis globe in the middle. It's kind of hard to see. You can kind of see it there. Some Local 9 elevator constructor things. Down here I have my supplies for the most part, and just some random elevator things. Like this article for Tisacra Multi back in the day. And here I have some Otis memorabilia and brochures and whatnot that I put on Google Drive, which I will link in the description if you want to check that out. Over here, I had some elevator ads, but I took them down because I'm currently renovating this place. So I can maybe, if I remember, put up my footage of this from last time. But if not, that's okay. Here we have a, let me move this wire out of the way, PTL Centurion button, which is mounted to the wall. Of course, the buttons light up with LED, but also when you press each button, the corresponding arrow turns on. This was an eBay item back in the day, one of my earlier parts. I think I've been collecting for a little over 3 years now. I'm very proud for this has come in 3 years. Whew, I'm out of breath. Over here, we have a bunch of hats. You can see Schindler, Mitsubishi, Otis, a bunch of others. Some random things from Disney up there. Water bottles, a couple springs. There's a KONE, I forgot I had that KONE KSS 140 indicator back there. A Hitachi escalator bolt. An old Otis lantern, like on an Autotronic. Now we go to the little shelf here. This is mainly my car top station area. But up here I have some little things like this Adams Designer button, which lights up green. KONE Innovation Delta, whatever you want to call it. Got this to light up too. No plate, unfortunately, but it's still a really neat piece to have. And here we have some ERM, I think US 92. Could be wrong though. These are actually pretty satisfying. You don't see these too often outside of California. Right here is this concave Otis button, which doesn't always like to work. Sometimes I have to squeeze this and it works. I keep it in a little water bottle cap. I don't think I'll try one more time. I don't think it's gonna work on me today. Maybe it will, I don't know. Let's try. Nope, but this lights up red if it were to work. Right here we have a few Montgomery car top stations. You can kind of see how they went from really nice to more so cheap in the middle. So you got black buttons for up and down, run, stop, switch, this Allen Bradley safety button, and a stop switch. Montgomery. Here we have the later version. I love that though, Montgomery Dependable Elevators. For everything except the safety button were toggle switches. Montgomery Elevator Company, Moline, Illinois. So you actually had to press this button in and hold the switch to make it move, which is kind of annoying. I like this one better. Also Montgomery Dependable Elevators, except you have to hold the safety button and up or down. This is way easier, in my opinion. And you got those same little switches on the bottom with the little ball on the end. So these are really neat. This is also interesting. This is an Arrowheart car top station. I got on eBay. This is really satisfying. If I remember correctly, I think this switch broke, but I replaced it with a new one. It works just fine now. It's interesting it's green, but it's in really good shape for its age, and you don't see Arrowheart too often anymore. Back there, it's kind of hard. Let me do this first. This is an old Otis button I got off of eBay as well. It's in really good shape for its age. It's a little finicky, but when you press it, it lights up. Either button turns on the in-use light if it decides to work. There it goes. I don't think it says in use. No, it doesn't. But yeah, I was able to get the contacts cleaned enough so that it would actually turn on. And a bulb just fits in there. But yeah, I'm glad this was able to be saved from the trash. Let me move that out of the way. It's probably gonna fall. It's definitely gonna fall. Oh boy. There. Back here, this was disgusting. Ooh, that was close. That almost just fell on me and broke. I'm glad I caught that. Now my finger's dirty, whatever. This was disgusting. And I cleaned it up to the best. One day I need to repaint this. This is a turnbolt call station. Why do I keep saying call station? Car top station. When you press the buttons, they actually light up. These are really satisfying buttons, actually. Why I made it light up, I don't know, but I thought it'd be neat, so I did it. And it looks really nice with the incandescents in there. And I had another ad over here, but again, I'm moving things around. This is my Schindler shelf down here, in case you couldn't tell. Got a nice Schindler logo here from a 300A, I believe. Here we have Linear 100 brass from Schindler themselves. Huge thanks to them for this. Here we have California code FIGS, which they press very differently than this. They almost remind me of Impulse a little. It's satisfying, these actually. This was an eBay item. Here we have normal MT and long bar MT. The long bar was from HappBoi Elevators. Huge thanks to him for this. Long bar is really satisfying. It's interesting how much different they are. Here's a normal MT. The long bar is definitely more durable than the normal. And I'm glad I get to have both right next to each other now. Thank you, Andy, for sending this to me. Here we have RT, eBay item. It's just atoms. A lot of these things I didn't have last time. Yet again, it's been like 3 years. Here we have HTVR. I haven't wired this up yet. It's a little broken, but I'll get it fixed one day. Just a normal Atom Survivor Plus CA. Moving down, this is my Dover shelf for the most part. Here we have Dover Traditional with the white rings, which you don't see every day. Got this running off of 24 volts, I believe, which makes these bulbs look really nice. Here we have older ThyssenKrupp Traditional, which was basically just older, or newer Dover Traditional. I don't see too many of these either. It's weird to see the ThyssenKrupp, they stick out a lot further than the Dover. Here we have Impulse, everybody's favorite. This is a newer Impulse. Lights up yellow with the bulbs it came with. Then I have this weird one I got on eBay. It's a terminal call station, but it has this weird delivery switch. And I wired it up so when you turn this, the button turns on. It looks actually kind of neat next to the normal Impulse. Over here we have older Impulse, a freight call station. You can see it doesn't sound the same. And it lights up the call and the in-use light. That looks really nice. And here we have older Dover vandal resistant with the Impulse bases. You can see this just sounds like newer Dover Impulse. Let me turn this key up here. Oh, please don't fall on me. Oh, yay. I hate when that happens. There it goes. You turn the key, they both turn on. So that's a neat piece. I like older VR Dover. It's interesting how they just kept the Impulse design, but just changed the cap. Moving down, we have this prototype lantern from Monitor. Huge thanks to them for giving that to me. This would be really cool on an actual elevator. Maybe I'll get that to wire up one day. Here we have this KONE emergency power switch. And the lights up, emergency power. I don't remember where I got this from. I think I got this from All City Elevator. Not 100% sure. Here we have KONE KSS 140 from eBay. It lit up, but I don't know what happened. I haven't had the time to fix it yet, so it's just normal. Doesn't do anything. And here we have older innovation decorator, California code, which is really interesting actually. You can see it sticks out further than normal, so it's California code compliant, but it's the older innovation with the actual contacts. And it's really satisfying. I love older innovation like this. You do not see that every day, for sure. So that's these two shelves. Although, let me get the demo of this real quick. All right, now we got the power going. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm hoping it still works. Let's see. Yes, it does. Doesn't seem to work all the time. But of course, when you press the button, the bell lights up and ding, or the arrow lights up and the bell dings. I don't know why, it's like it's stuck on something. I could try to move something out of the way. Try again. That made it worse. Let me get the chair. Sorry, I really got the shakes today. Let's see. Oh. I don't know, but you can see it dings. It used to be a lot better. I'll get that fixed at some point. And I also forgot to point out, I have some like CJ Anderson shirts here. All City Elevator Inc. backpack. Oh, and I have this Westinghouse lantern here I totally forgot about. This was an eBay item as well. I love these older Westinghouses. Too bad it doesn't have that vintage bell, but it's still really neat. Anyway, oh, and there's all my elevator keys, which just stay here. There's a Mitsubishi lunchbox, along with a Mitsubishi backpack. All right, let's head over to the other 3 shelves now. Yes, you heard me right, 3. But again, here's all my stuff here. Let's go. Alrighty, now we are at the 3rd shelf. And this is one of probably my favorite shelf just because of the cool functionality it has. Here's an overview. You can see I got some destination dispatch panels. Got this little shelf down there. It's a bigger things down here. I'm gonna go in more detail with all these things in a second. I do want to point out that if you flip this switch, a bunch of things turn on. I can go into more detail turning these destination panels on in a minute. So anyway, let's start up top. We have this awesome armor indicator that came out of the... Actually, I don't think it came out of anywhere. I got it from a KONE tech, from what I recall. Huge thanks to him for saving this for me. It lights up. Up top there are, it's hard to see, there's a bunch of switches up there. And each switch corresponds to a different piece of the indicator. If I can reach it, it's high up here. See B1, oops. Oh yeah, I forgot the 1's on its own. 5, so then the final switch controls this car up, the up arrow, and the 1. And then you can switch it, oops, wrong one. Come on. Oh, jeez. To the down, there we go. So I turn all the other ones back on. I hate reaching up here, that was the 4. There's the 3, the 2, and the B. So that on its own looks cool, but I personally like this car up better. I think that looks a lot nicer. That is really cool. Here we have some of my smaller items. Here we have a PTO Performer alarm button that lights up. It's a little finicky with this GAL stop switch on it that I kind of broke. I fixed it, but it doesn't work the best, so I'm not gonna mess with it right now. Here we have an Otis vanity button. Another one, also came out of SPS Tower in Minneapolis. Here we have, I got this on eBay, this old lantern. I don't know what kind it is, but it's something old. Maybe Houghton or Montgomery or something. You can kind of see the back of it. I don't know what that is, but it's definitely very neat. Here is some Monitor TR, came from Monitor themselves. Huge thanks to them for this. It's wired up with their standard LED like you see in New York City. Here we have a ThyssenKrupp Agile panel. Unfortunately, this one doesn't have any guts, so it doesn't do anything. So it's the black version. And you can see the button does press. It has the RFID reader. Moving down, we have a bunch of little stuff. Here we have this random armor button. Armor black button guts. Definitely old and finicky, but they work. I love armor. You have another Mad BS moon button. Lights up red. See some ThyssenKrupp stuff back there. Carabiner. There's some weird Adams button back there. ThyssenKrupp cup. Monitor PC button. I don't remember where I got this from. I think somebody might have given that to me. Honestly, I don't remember. What's up, y'all? Master elevator USB drive. Then we have this impulse piece that came off of COP. And all the buttons light up different colors. You got the 1 that lights up green, the 2 that lights up warm white, and 3 that lights up blue. This came off of eBay. I don't know if I said that already. It's interesting, this one only has 1 micro switch, where these ones have 2. You gotta hear the difference. Oops. And that's really cool. It's funny how they just come off like that. All right, moving down, this is the cool shelf. So, why don't I turn it off first, and I can show you guys what the ThyssenKrupp, well, if you couldn't tell already, this is a ThyssenKrupp Agile panel again. This one has the guts, and it's white. Unfortunately, it does not do anything. I tried, I held down the button when it booted up, I held down the button now, it doesn't do anything. If anyone has any ideas how to get this to do something, let me know down in the comments. So if I turn it off, when I boot it up, you'll see the handicap button's gonna light up before the screen turns on. Here it goes. Now it's got power. And there it goes. It just stays on the ThyssenKrupp screen, but it is still a really cool piece to have. Maybe I can get it to do something one day. It probably needs a controller. Oh, look at that there. I never noticed that without the phone. There's like infrared up there. That's interesting. This I had before. This is an EPCO Endurance. I don't know if it's just Endurance, but newer EPCO button sales sample that EPCO gave me. Huge thanks to them for this. You can see this is the newer Schindler 5500 VR. This one too. You don't see these two that often. I don't think I've actually ever seen these in the field. Who knows, maybe I will one day. And here we got the two KONE Polaris panels. So let's start off with this one. This one was an eBay, they were both eBay items actually. This one I got first, and this reminds me of the Hotel EMC2 in Chicago. It looks like it doesn't do anything, but in reality it does, because it doesn't have a screen like this one. So, you can just put in whatever you want. Let's say I want to go up to 26, and it thinks about it, but then since it's not on a controller, it's like, I don't know. So it just gives you the exclamation point. Sometimes it takes a second. You can see you do the star for 1. You kind of hear it thinking back there, and this is the card reader, by the way. It's funny, you can also do like -0, which obviously doesn't exist. You can go to the lowest you can go is -9. And funny enough, the highest you can go is 69. See, for some reason, 70 does not work. You can try as much as you want, but 70 does not work. I don't know why, but this is really cool, and I'm glad I got this to work. This is really fun to play with. All of these, by the way, are hooked up to AC power down there, that huge mess. So is this. I don't know if I mentioned that already. But yeah, this is a really neat piece. Too bad it doesn't talk. Maybe that also needs the controller, who knows. Now we got this guy. Oop. I'm gonna reboot this one up. This one takes a second, so I can do this. Watch this. KONE. Takes a second. It's funny, you could start entering a call right now. I just want to show you guys a little bit. So now it says enter floor number. And as you can see, this one has the KSS 570 buttons on the panel, which is really freaking cool. So again, you can put in whatever floor you want. Let's say we want to go to 21. Focus, there we go. And it'll say elevator. This one's really fast, but then after a minute, it's like, renew your call, because I don't know where you're gonna go. Because again, it's not on an actual controller. But you can see this one's really fast. If I do 3, it's a lot quicker than the other one, excuse me. Again, please renew your call. This one has a few interesting other quirks. The star button's actually raised. Oh, this one is too, I didn't realize that. So you hit the star. Again, you can go to floor 1. Well, you could if it actually was on an actual elevator. By the way, I didn't point out, this thing's huge. I had to rearrange the entire room just to get this thing to fit on a shelf. Anyway, you also have a few interesting features with this one. You hit the roof button, which for some reason is registered as floor 8. I don't know why, but, oh, what the hell? That's new. I've never seen it do that before. Here, I'm gonna reboot it up, see if I can get it to do. There it goes. So I can show you guys, it boots up. You don't have to go through all these screens. Okay, that was weird. My phone totally just blipped out on me. So now it's booting up again. I don't know what that was. Sorry about that, guys. But as you can see, once it boots up, it gets to that second screen. Another different floor. You can just start calling an elevator. So let's try the roof again. Floor 8. There it goes. I don't know what that was doing before. So this one also has, you see the button with the 3 little people. It has a group call feature. So if you press that button, it's gonna ask you how many people you have, up to 9. So let's say I have 4 people, focus, going to floor. Oh, whoops, I don't know what just happened. Let's try that again. Group call, we're gonna have 6 people going to floor 25. And then it would put them all in one elevator. I guess it just keeps the door open for longer or something. And this one, again, also I forgot to mention, handicap button on this one. It does, you can actually tell it registers because it has, when you enter a floor, it has the handicap logo up there, which is really neat. And again, the lowest you can go is -9. Oh, it doesn't exist on this one. The highest you can go is 69. I don't know why it's 69, but that's pretty funny. You just can't even try 70. It just cuts off. I don't get why. But just like the other one, this is a really cool piece to have. I'm glad I got it to work. And this is really fun to just play around with sometimes when I'm bored. This one has a different card reader, which is interesting. So that is that shelf, my destination shelf. I'm hoping one day to get some port for my Iconic 10. That would be really cool. Or even compass. I don't know if I could get those to work. Anyhowdy-who, let's move down to this little shelf. Here we have some of my older things. Here I have this random, whoa, I guess I forgot to put something under it. This random old button, some old elevator. I don't know what this one's to, but this is a really interesting piece. Here we have a really cool Seaberg button, which I did not get to light up because it's missing some of the guts, but it does press. I got this on Etsy, I believe. This was a really neat piece to have. I've always seen these online before, and I've always wanted to have one. Be cool if one day I can get it to light up. Excuse me. Here we have everyone's favorite ThyssenKrupp Mad BS classic sample from the Safety Ambassador Club. Mine is the old one, like the original ThyssenKrupp logo. I got this a long time ago. This is actually probably the first elevator button I ever got. Everyone loves these. Everyone has those. Here we have Otis Series 1, newer, which is not wired up yet because I gotta fix the boards. They're a little broken. I mean to do that. I'll do that at some point soon. Here we have EPCO flush line. This was an eBay item. Oh, I forgot to put the thing under this one too. The little anti-grip stuff. Lights up with the incandescence, which looks really nice. Come on, you're gonna light up. There it goes. Try to get them both. There you go, look at that. My fingers are kind of, you can kind of see that. This I literally just got. It's kind of hard to see. Bring it out. It's a C.J. Anderson button, which on the back it's stamped 1944. I don't think it's that old, but I wouldn't be surprised if it is, just because C.J. Anderson is built to last. This is a really neat piece. It's really heavy duty and it's heavy in my hand. This weighs a few pounds. Definitely in good shape. I'll show you, I think I got the COP. These are both, this was an eBay item and I got the COP from eBay too. It's the same seller at the same time. So I'm betting those came off the same elevator. Anyway, let's move down to some of my bigger pieces. First off, we have some brails. Fujitech braille from DJ. A few brails, I think from ThyssenKrupp. Some more Fujitech brails from DJ. Thank you, DJ. Here we have a US square button COP. This came out of the York Place office building in Edina. Huge thanks to ThyssenKrupp for saving this for me when they were modding this. All the buttons light up. The 3 buttons are a little finicky. And the alarm button lights up the alarm and the fire light. Let's see this. There's the alarm press button. US is super hard to find these days, so I'm glad to have saved this. I gotta give a shout out to TXM Elevators here for taking me here, or I would have not known about this mod. So thank you, Aaron. I didn't wire up the key switches, but maybe I'll do that one day. And it's interesting, these have the older switches, but they replaced the stop switch with the, what's it called? Soft touch switch. I guess it just broke. Anyway, here we have this tall GAL panel. This was an eBay item. I think these are GAL VPB, if I remember correctly. Because you got the button that lights up and the halo. It's VR GAL, which I don't see every day. I don't think many people see every day, and that up button's scratched. This is really interesting. I don't know why I cannot talk tonight. But this actually came out of New York City, so I'm not surprised. GAL's everywhere in New York City. Here we have, if you like Menards, this is the panel for you. These are those weird PTL buttons that look like mad BS that you see on all those Schumachers at Menards. Schumacher themselves actually gave this to me, so huge thanks to them. I don't know why this has 3 buttons, but it does. They all light up. And this key here turns on the bottom button. These bases are not the greatest. I was originally going to wire it differently, but it started smoking on me. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to let it work as is. But I'm glad I got the buttons to light up. That's what I really cared about. This one's brighter for some reason, but you can kind of see the difference. This is still a really interesting piece. I guess this was never installed. I don't know. But again, thank you, Schumacher, for this one. Here's another one, a different version of those. This was in California, I believe. Also PTL. You got the concave button. Looks like Mad BS Moon. No, BP Moon, excuse me. Lights up. And up here you got the fire hat. And the key actually takes an Otis key for some reason. When you turn it on or to reset, the fire hat lights up. These are interesting pieces, these two for sure. You don't see them every day. So, let's move on to shelf number 4. Give a quick overview of it. Sorry if I'm going a little fast. I do have some stuff behind these guys, I'll show you in a minute. Up top, we have, what is that, a ThyssenKrupp inspection switch, and another EPCO Singapore button I'm just keeping up there for now. Here we have an indicator that came out of the same elevator as that panel from York Place. Again, thank you ThyssenKrupp for this, or I should say TKE, because that's who they were at the time. Speaking of TKE, there's a hard hat for them. Thank you for this TKE. This was from TKE themselves in Atlanta. Well, this stuff came out of ThyssenKrupp in Minneapolis. Or TKE, why do I keep saying ThyssenKrupp? I don't know why. Let's start off with this shelf. Here we have some, or not, what am I saying? I am just so out of it right now. Here we have an EPCO Circle Line button. You might remember this is like the intermediate one I showed earlier. This came out of 222 in Minneapolis, formerly Campbell Mitten Tower. Huge thanks to the management from there and Schindler for saving this for me. This is the terminal version that was on the top floor of one of the banks. So it's that really neat red you do not see every day. I'm glad I have one of these in my collection. That looks really interesting. And it just fell on me. That happened. Come on. There we go. Just ignore that happened. Here we have a Fujitec lantern that DJ gave me. Thank you, DJ, for this. The plate is kind of disgusting. One day I'm gonna try to restore this and make it all shiny and nice again. But it's cool to have some Fujitec in my collection. Speaking of Fujitec, here's a Fujitec vanity panel with the buttons that don't stick out. I need to fix the boards on the back there. The switches are a little messed up, but I will fix them. Hopefully get this to light up sometime soon. I don't see Fujitec anywhere in Minnesota, so I'm glad I got to have one of these in my collection. This is probably the only Fujitec elevator button in the entire state of Minnesota. Here we have this interesting innovation call button. You can see it's older Innovation Universal, but not only is it California code where the buttons stick out, but it also came off of Montgomery clearly because it has a vector fire service switch. And funny enough, it says on, off, and bypass, but it's only a 2-phase switch, so that does not match up. So of course, buttons light up. And when you turn the switch on, the buttons light up themselves away. You don't have to press the button. I love older innovation, so this is an interesting piece to add to my collection. I don't know why I can't talk tonight. That was an eBay, I don't know if I mentioned that. Here's another button from 222. This is on the bottom floor, so it lights up white. EPCO Circle Line again. Here we have something else I got on eBay. This is a, monitor button that you'd see on a Long. These are really interesting buttons. They were only used by Long Elevator, custom made by Monitor. See, they both light up. The red, they have the circuit boards on the back that Long used. So these are interesting. I might rewire this at some point. It's kind of dim in person. Here we have another MT button. Just normal MT terminal version. And here we have, this might look like Innovation Universal, but it's actually that clicky type of Montgomery conventional you see on like early Montgomery KONEs and very late Montgomerys. These buttons are very cheap. This one has broken on me several times. I've had to hot glue it together. You can see the button's a little crooked. They do have that interesting yellow light, but these were not built the best, because clearly it was Montgomery's later designs. And these are definitely Montgomery because they have a Montgomery circuit board on them, interestingly enough. They're very clicky. If you like clicky, this is a good button for you. Moving down, we have a giant impulse call station, newer impulse, but with a twist. Watch this. It chimes. Where's the up button? And of course the buttons themselves light up. I like how the down lights up red. I didn't do that, came like that. And you can see to make it actually sound like a down, you gotta do it twice. This is really fun and it drives people crazy if you do it for a while. I can try with one hand. Oh, they both are lit up. That's a lot for the battery. Here we have some Westinghouse. This is type A. This is my earlier parts from eBay. The up doesn't work. I need to fix it. Something broke off the back. It has like the Adams caps, where this one has the original cap. And here's type E. You usually see on a COP if it doesn't have EPCO circle line. This is really interesting. Trying to get them both to light up. There we go. Oh, you can see the battery there. It just totally used a lot of juice. Yeah, that up button's struggling. Yeah, this is really neat. These are satisfying. Moving down, here we have a Dover traditional button. A lot of people got these back in the day. Wired up with the incandescents and it looks good. ThyssenKrupp Aurora, the later version, I believe. These feel like newer mad bases to me. Nice to have some ThyssenKrupp. Now this might look like GAL Jet Plus, but this is actually a surge button that looks like GAL. I got this for really cheap, I remember. It's weird, like if it's on against something, they both light up for some reason. This thing's old. This probably came out of somewhere in New York City if I had to guess. You can see it's not just Jet Plus because it pushes in a lot further, and it doesn't sound like it either. This is GAL Jet Plus. You can hear the difference, and honestly, you can see the difference. This came out of somewhere in Mayo Clinic. Huge thanks to Mayo Clinic in Rochester for saving this for me. I like how it has the brails engraved into the plate. That's really neat. I always like having GAL now since they don't make it anymore. Down outside the shelf, I have some bigger things. Let me shut this off so I don't kill any power. I don't want anything to blow. Well, it's not gonna blow, I don't want anything to die up there. Here we have 4 buttons. Starting off, these two are Innovation Decorator buttons, the older but newer kind with the LEDs. These both came out of that bank of elevators that just got modernized at IKEA in Bloomington, Minnesota. Huge thanks to KONE and IKEA themselves for saving these for me. I can't believe I have elevator parts from IKEA, but here we are. These are pretty worn, especially the down button, but honestly, for being exposed to the elements, they're in pretty good shape. This is missing a hole because that's where a key switch used to be, but they transferred it to the new panel. I can show, if I have it, I'll put it over the screen, the exact spot you can see in the video where these came from. The fire switch does not work yet. I gotta figure out how to wire it. But again, it has an Otis switch for some reason. Or key. I don't get why Otis keys fit fire things. Here are some mad buttons. First, I want to start off with this one, because I got these both at the same time, and they looked like this. Mad Beat S Moon lights up red. Seeing like a Schindler nowadays, or maybe it's a ThyssenKrupp, or even a KONE nowadays. And then I got these 2 separate Mad Atoll buttons. So the other one looked like this. I switched it out so I could have Mad Atoll on a plate. And this looks like something you see on a ThyssenKrupp most likely. Good old Mad Atoll, which looks pretty nice. Over on the side, I have this huge Innovation Prestige call button that Schumacher gave me. Thank you Schumacher Corporate for saving this for me as well. This is a neat kind of innovation you don't see every day. And I like the blue on this, it looks really nice. That one's satisfying. I don't have any buttons behind these, but I have a Mayo Clinic sign, a giant wrench they gave me. Let me move around. Fire switch, another Mayo Clinic sign, Local 9 elevator constructors they also gave me, and this elevator personnel box. Huge thanks to Mayo Clinic for all that stuff behind there. All right, we got another shelf. This is the last shelf. Yes, there's Coca-Cola up there. That's where I keep it, because it's Coke Zero and Coke Zero Sugar right before they switched them out. Give a quick overview. Sorry if I'm doing this a little fast. And I got some stuff down here I'll show off too. So first we have this interesting Dover indicator that you do not see every day. This is pretty new. I think this might actually be new old stock. If it's not, it's in really good shape. Here we have another one of those weird lanterns I showed before. Some Coca-Cola Zero and Coca-Cola Zero Sugar. PTL lantern, you might think that's GAL, but it says PTL on the back, and if you look at it closely, you can tell it's PTL. Here we have some more lanterns. This is an innovation lantern that I bet was used on a Fujitech. Just because it came out of Texas and it looks like a Fujitech lantern. Maybe one day I'll get to do something cool. This is one of my coolest things in my collection. In case you can't tell, this is an Otis luxury lantern with the chime and everything. I haven't tried messing with it yet. I don't want to break it. This came out of the Gonda building of Mayo Clinic. Huge thanks to them for saving this for me. I don't know if anybody else has one of these. I bet if I got it to work, it would do the little animation. That'd be really neat. I'll have to play with that one day. This might look like mad, but it's actually Dover VR. You don't see these every day either. Becoming more and more rare nowadays as things are getting modded. I stupidly took the guts off of this, but I'll put them back on at some point. Here we have a couple more call stations. Here we have everyone's favorite ERN recycling buttons. It's a little finicky. God, gotta press it just the right spot. So you can spin these around too. There it goes. I don't know why you could spin it around, but you just can. Here we have older innovation prestige California Code, which lights up yellow. This has the same circuit board as those IKEA buttons I just showed you, the innovation decorator. Has an access switch where if you turn it, either way, the button lights up. Same thing on this one, it uses the same key. I think these actually might have come off the same elevator, I'm not 100% sure though. I'd like to keep it on that one. Moving down, this is my Adams shelf. Starting off, we have what looks like US Soft Touch, but it's actually California Code compliant US Soft Touch, which is just Adams Survivor, believe it or not. You can see the buttons light up, but they push in, so this is definitely not Soft Touch. You can see they push, so this is the weird California version. And of course, it's kind of hard to see, they stick out. So both the buttons light up when you press them, and the fire key, depending on which way you turn it, one of the buttons lights up. On does the up, and bypass does the down. Turn it off. In case of fire, use stairway. That's an interesting piece, for sure. Here we have some Adams designer buttons. This one's from DJ. It has this interesting arrow I don't see, or I don't think many people have seen this very often. Lights up. And here, of course, we have the normal version, which you see on a lot of MEIs around here. The normal arrows that you see on Adams. Thank you, DJ, for this, by the way. Here we have normal Adams Survivor. I got this on eBay. It's kind of boring, but like in person, but it's nice to have in my collection. These are easy to wire up. And here we have this freight call station Adams Survivor. When I got this for like $1. I kid you not. I'll show you on the screen if I can find it. This thing was disgusting, and I mean disgusting. It was just caked in filth and disgustingness, and that's why the seller was letting it go for so cheap. But I was able to beautifully get all that stuff off and make it look normal again. So when you press this button here, it lights up, it's gonna move on me. It lights up, of course, the call button and the in use button. For some reason, if you press this in just the right way, that doesn't light up, but the in-use light does. And of course, I have it where you press the door open, the in-use button lights up, just like on a normal freight elevator. Moving down, we have a few more interesting things. We have two older Otis, or actually this is newer, well, yeah, it is newer black button, Otis call stations with the rotodial. Well, as you can see though, one of them's replaced. The left one I got from Mayo Clinic with the rotodial complete and everything. Huge thanks to them for this. It doesn't have this mounting screw though, so you gotta be really careful with it or it's gonna fall off. And you can see the rotodial in there, 3A. I don't feel like spinning it around because I'd have to move this. Huge thanks to Mayo Clinic for giving this to me. This is really neat. Here I have a terminal one I got on eBay for cheap with a replaced indicator. But I'm like, hey, it's Otis black button and it's cheap, might as well. It's actually kind of cool to see how they made it modern while keeping the original button. This actually didn't even have an arrow. I got this arrow from Master Elevator for really cheap. I think it was like $3. Here we have an LG Sigma button. These are weird. I think these are like Korean elevators, I think, maybe Japanese. We don't see these very often in the States. This is like those ones in St. Petersburg, Florida. And it could be an up, I guess, if you really wanted to. My camera's not gonna flip. This is an eBay item. But yeah, this is really interesting. You don't see these very often. It presses weirdly too. Here we have an Otis car top station. Got off on eBay. All the buttons press, and they're very satisfying to press. It's a little dirty because this was used, but it's really interesting. I'm not gonna press it down because it's gonna fall on me. I don't feel like fixing it. Up top, it has a couple lights. Maybe we'll get to do something one day. Here we have this Houghton car top station that KONE gave me. This came out of the Warren E. Berger Federal Building in St. Paul, Minnesota. They were old Houghtons that got modded in the 90s with Adams, and then KONE modded them again completely. So this is a really interesting piece. It's funny how all the instructions are just on a giant sticker. Houghton was kind of cheap, I guess. And those switches are really annoying to press. It's gonna fall on me. Let's put it back. There we go. These buttons are really satisfying, these Houghton black buttons. Thank you, KONE, for this. Moving down, here we have a Dover black button COP I got off on eBay. These are the older black buttons. Obviously don't light up. You got a stop switch. And it says Dover. I need to fill in that mark on the panel that's missing paint. This is really interesting. And appropriately, next to it, we have this huge older Dover black button call station. I got a new ring for this, but it didn't fit, so I had to put this one back on. One day I'm hoping to get this wired up, but it's missing all the wires to the lamp socket, so I gotta improvise with this. But if I can get this to light up, that would look really cool. Here we have newer ThyssenKrupp Traditional I recently got. This is an eBay item. You see that a lot. This is actually new old stock, and the buttons were the older, or they are the older kind, which is interesting. I guess somebody ordered this and never got installed. Here we have some interesting monitor I got on eBay with these green circuit boards. They're California code compliant for sure, although I think they were in Texas. These are really satisfying. Over here, we have some little things. I'm just gonna go in counterclockwise order. Back here, we have this Innovation Bruiser button that lights up white. And you can see it's that weird type of bruiser with the line in the middle. It almost makes it look like Adam Survivors Plus. Sorry for the shakes. And the other one's a white. This is a piece. DJ actually helped me get this, so thank you, DJ. DJ, you've been a major contributor to this collection, so thank you. This is the COP I was talking about from that CJ Anderson button. It's 3 floors. There were 3 of those buttons, and I got them at the exact same time, so I'm betting these are from the same elevator. I don't think these are CJ Anderson buttons. I think these actually are inland buttons. They're really satisfying. I need to wire this up still. I'm working on it currently. This will look really cool when it's wired. You have the stop switch, on-off switch, and an alarm button. Again, here's the back of it. See, those almost look like Dover buttons. I think they're inland. I could be wrong, though. Put that back. Here we have some more merchandise, a ThyssenKrupp sticker, some shirts and whatnot, and I think that's from a Westinghouse counterweight roller. Here we have this giant GAL button. This was an eBay item. This is BPMC, which you do not see very often. Unfortunately, the circuit board for the light on the bottom button decided to blow up on me. So I just shoved a red LED in there. This is the normal one, this weird pink. But they actually kind of look nice with each other. I don't know, tell me which one you guys like better, the pink or the red? This is the pink. It's more red in person. And this is the red, although it looks orange on camera. You guys tell me. This is an interesting piece, and I'm glad I was able to get one of these since GAL's gone now. It's really big. Here we have some armor, which you know I love. I had this working and, oh, come on, there it goes. For some reason it broke a little, so I gotta fix it. Something's weird with the wiring on this. It probably just needs really good cleaning. And the light's stuck in there. There it goes, now it presses. Here we have some Innovation NEMA 4, formerly Innovation NEMA 4X, that lights up green. You do not see green innovation every day, and I like green elevator buttons in general. This is really interesting. This was an eBay item, watertight if this was out in the field. The key switch is missing its core. I'm working on fixing that. Here we have some KONE KSS 570. Oh, and this button's gonna be annoying to me again. I just fixed this. Well, the up button works. Lights up orange. In case you guys didn't know, KONE KSS 570 is really, or any newer KONE for that matter, is really annoying to work with. I can see real quick if I just give that a squeeze. Which wire is it? Oh, it's this guy over here. Newer KONE is a pain in the butt to work with. But you can see it just lit up for a second. Let's do that one more time. It's gonna do it right. Oh, you guys saw that? It's trying. There it goes. Now let's see if it actually works by the time I flip it back over. Nope. This thing's annoying. Newer KONE is just annoying to work with in general. But pretend that lights up. You saw it for a second. It's finicky. I gotta play with it some more. And lastly, we have this older Innovation Universal call station. I love older Innovation. They're just so satisfying to me. I'm really hoping one of these days to get one from Montgomery with the custom Montgomery font and whatnot. This looks really nice. So, you might think that is all, but I actually have a few more things downstairs. So let's go. Alrighty, welcome to the basement where I have let me throw in the wide angle for a second, 4 massive swing panel COPs down here. I'm gonna show you guys each of these in detail. Let's start off with the one furthest to the right. Way back here, we have this GAL Jet Plus panel, normal Jet Plus. Minnesota Elevator was able to save this for me. Thank you, MEI, for this. All the buttons light up, of course. And the alarm button. And when you turn this key, the emergency light turns on. And because it has capacitors, when you hit stop, it slightly stays on for a second. And you can kind of open this actually because it's a swing panel and see in there. I'm not gonna mess with it that much right now because I don't want it to fall or anything. But again, thank you MEI for this panel. This is neat. Glad I have some Jet Plus COP, or a COP rather, just because they don't make it anymore. Jet Plus was really nice. It's a shame they don't make it anymore. Speaking of GAL, here we have this huge, and I mean freaking huge, this thing's like as tall as the ceiling, 10 feet. Otis Vanity COP. This came out of SPS Tower in downtown Minneapolis. A huge thanks to them and Otis for saving this for me. You got the service cabinet, which opens, and there's nothing in it. And it's actually supposed to be locked. I don't know why it's open. I'll have to close that later. Here's all the floor buttons. Get another look at it. This wood was actually a part of the cab, so it's cool how it's actually part of the panel as well. So you got the alarm button. Oh, and I also want to point out, these are GAL Jet Plus buttons. Otis Vanity is just GAL Jet Plus for those who didn't know. And these have a custom font for this building on the buttons. I don't know why, but they look really nice. Door open, door close. It's all different. These are now Otis Compass 360. So let's look at it. So you got the emergency button, the alarm, Got this interesting bar button that says Skyway. When you press it, it lights up. Moves the whole panel, but it's neat. It's funny, you can just kind of... It's better up top. There it is. You can see it moving. And of course, all the floors light up. Come on. It's interesting how the layout's backwards. And you got call cancel lights up. And when you flip this fire key, restricted floor and the emergency light comes on. This is a really cool panel. This is the first COP I ever got. Huge thanks to SPS Tower and Otis for saving this for me. This is just so freaking cool. Maybe one day I'll get to do something even cooler. But for now, this is what it does. These buttons are just so satisfying. I don't know why, they're more satisfying than normal Jet Plus. But they are just GAL, believe it or not. Moving on here. This came out of one of my childhood elevators. And I'm so glad I was able to save this. This came out of the Science Museum of Minnesota. These were on 1999 Dovers. This was an original install. This was not from a mod. Two of the cars there just got modded recently by All City Elevator. So they and the Science Museum of Minnesota were able to save this for me. A huge thanks to them. This is the older innovation, like the old kind with the incandescents I could see on Montgomery. You can listen. But they had all these LEDs in them. It's a red cap with a yellow LED. So of course, red and yellow makes orange. So the buttons light up orange. These are the original bulbs and they look really nice. Of course, all the buttons light up in my typical wiring fashion. Door open, door close, and the alarm button. These are super satisfying. It's just hard to explain how nostalgic some elevators like this are. So I'm really glad I was able to save these from my childhood elevators. And down here, 5,000 pound capacity, the service cabinet. See, I got a little Science Museum of Minnesota keychain on it. And in here, you have all the switches and a universal button with the emergency light test. This one doesn't light up as bright because these ones are 24 volts and they're on a 24 volt supply. Well, this light is actually 120 volts. I don't know why, but I liked the LED in there to keep it original, so that looks interesting. But it's the older innovation. It has non-innovation switches in here, a plug, and I put some Science Museum stickers in there to keep it nostalgic. Got the logo, their astronauts, Trust Science, and their famous sticker that you see on a sweatshirt from, what's it called, Stranger Things. That logo is on Stranger Things. But yeah, oh, and it also has the original directory they didn't take off, which actually kind of surprised me, but I'm not complaining. And there's the directory. 5 is the lobby for some reason. It's built on a hill, that's probably why. But yeah, this came out of Elevator 7. Thank you, Science Museum Minnesota, and All City Elevator Inc. for saving this unique, I'm gonna call it a Dover panel, even though it's innovation, this unique Dover panel for me. This is really interesting. Also interesting, and this is my newest COP, it's this really neat EPCO panel that came out of Capella Tower in Minneapolis. A huge thanks to them and Schindler for saving this for me. So that it comes with this, like, I don't know what to call it, glossy silver, I guess, finish. It has these little buttons that almost look like Jet Plus, especially these down here. So, of course, it doesn't do anything until just nothing works at all. But then, of course, if you come down here, you can see I have a key and run and stop. If you turn the switch from stop to run, sorry about that, something came in through my phone. If you turn the switch from stop to run, power is now flowing throughout the entire panel. So now when you press the buttons, they all light up. These are definitely custom buttons because they have a weird lamp socket. And the entire thing is smaller than normal. 22, 23, 24. This came out of a mid-rise car, for sure. And it has the indicator up there, you can see behind it. Huge thanks to them for saving this for me. And you can see you got door open, door close, and the alarm, it doesn't light up, but look what I did to it. It rings an actual alarm bell that they gave me. It's mounted on the back. It sounds kind of funny, but I think it's cool. So, and then when you turn it back to stop, it's off again. So nothing works, except regardless of whether it's on stop or run, if you press the call cancel button, the fire light comes on and it rings the little nudging fire buzzer. And this is an EPCO Halo Line button. It's interesting to see how they mixed EPCO Halo Line with these custom buttons. These were on Schindler's, and they sadly got modded by Schindler again with port, but I'm glad I was able to save this really neat custom panel. Thank you, Capella Tower and Schindler Elevator, for saving this for me, and thank you to everybody who's not only giving me these panels, but everything on my other shelves. You all have definitely made my collection a very neat one at that. And one day, I can't wait to display it to everyone else. I'm hoping one day I could get it somewhere where people can come visit it. But for now, everything's staying here. So that is going to conclude this June 2023 parts tour of my elevator parts collection. Here's some pictures, by the way, I took of some famous elevators in Atlanta. You got the Hyatt Regency, Marriott Marquis, and the Hilton hanging up on my wall. And one other thing I forgot to point out, if it's gonna do it, I don't know if it will, this actually goes in power saving mode, where this stuff up here actually just goes away and the screen gets darker. But anyway, I am very proud of what this collection has grown to be. I put a lot of time and effort into making these elevator parts work how they do. I love restoring these parts and getting them to work as if they were on an actual elevator so that they can be restored to their former glory. I look forward to seeing what this does in the future, just to see how it grows and what new stuff I get. Here's one more look at my stuff here. And anyways, that is going to conclude the video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later.